the word desire that was used a lot after the win against Eastleigh in midweek. Just how much was that needed, and how important will that be between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, I think we've demonstrated that all the way through, but it's going to be even more important. Sorry, now, and I think the other thing that was very very obvious was that the desire from the stands that was almost tangible. You could feel it in the air. So they're always brilliant, but that was a different level. That was a different level.
Is it something that you've seen more of as the season's gone on, or has that always been there since you've arrived?
I mean, first of all, always an incredible following, and then we myself first and foremost needed to try to prove that I'm worthy to stand there in front of them, and the team worthy of the support, and that's the correct way round. It's got to be earned, not given immediately, but of course they're there first and foremost, and then they want to watch what you're doing and how well you're doing it, and you have to prove yourself, and the atmosphere in the ground was just it was a different level.
There was a big call that went against Notts in midweek with penalty. It seems to have a way of focusing on the task in hand on the pitch rather than referees and decisions and things like that. I just wonder how you, Luke, how do you really manage to keep that focus despite everything that's going on around you?
Yeah, I know that I can try to help the team with the right words, or change the formation, change the players. Different game requires different formation or different group of players, but I cannot help with the referees. They have a tough job and they have to make decisions, and if they make the wrong decision and we concentrate and focus our attention on that, it can take away from the things that we can actually affect. And that way I need to remain focused on what I can do to try to salvage the situation. And the players need to not try to focus on that or use that as in some way to allow them to be off the hook. They need to concentrate on the work and the commitment, so that we can withstand anything that goes against us in that manner.
2 goals for Ruben Rodriguez in midweek, cap off another brilliant display. What is it about him that makes him such a special player for Notts?
He can take the ball under any amount of pressure, and he can manipulate his body and the ball to go from a position where you feel like you have him facing his own goal and comfortable, and in one moment he's facing you, and then he has then combined with that the calmness to pick the right pass or to dribble in the box. I mean, the way he dribbled in the box in a very tight area and then just pass the ball. The keeper, if you watch, the keeper is on one knee to the left. Ruben pushed the ball to the other side, to the keeper's right. Then, he arrive in the box and make the exact right contact with the outside of his boot to steer the ball into the corner after he missed a penalty in a massive game. So we're talking about real quality. We're talking about character and the fearless nature of Ruben. So is quite honestly a special player.
Yeah, a very special player. You mentioned his quality and his ability, but he's also got brilliant footballing intelligence as well. Like you say, and he showed that character. Despite missing the penalty, he didn't let his head drop. He's missed 1 or 2 already this season, but every time he's done that, he's managed to sort of step up and make amends.
Yeah, I mean, most of the penalties that he's taken have been really high pressure, this one included. Before, I think he missed one in a game that was not in that really high pressure against Maidstone maybe. But then in a game where he misses a penalty, he steps up and scores 2 massive goals, 2 incredible goals. Only he can score this type of goal where he dribbles in this really small area. And I think the other thing that is really, really important to talk about is, and for me, arguably as important as all the things that we just spoke about that are amazing, is the running, because however good you are with your touches, your vision, your goal scoring ability, your composure to take penalties in big moments, all of these things are gifts, but running is a choice. That's a choice to run through pain barrier, to repeatedly jump out and put your body on the line and block people, and is brilliant. So I'm very happy with the way he's performing and how much he's giving to us all.
Yeah, he's giving plenty, that is for sure. Let's talk about Corley Langstaff, another goal for him in midweek. Gave him the captain's armband the weekend and the win over Eastleigh. Just talking through that, what made you decide to give him the Corley Langstaff the captain's armband?
Well, again, as somebody that really leaves everything out on the pitch, he runs himself into the ground to harass the opposition and then to recover. He's never too detached from the group. When the ball drops, he's back in close contact with midfield players, and then he'll jump out again. Of course, the goals he's scored have been, hugely important. I think he has an unbelievable connection with the fans. He has an unbelievable connection with the staff, unbelievable connection with the players. So in that way, by default, you're a captain. By that way, you could. It's possible to have several captains on the pitch, because if they have these characteristics, they're a captain. So I felt like for him, the added responsibility to have the armband, but with the wave of support that I know he will get from everybody, it was a decision I thought on the balance was the correct one.
Yeah. How did he react when you told him he was going to be wearing the armband?
Very embarrassed. He went bright red, because this is the nature of Macca, and not really overly surprised at that reaction, because he's so humble. But I think he scored more goals than anybody in the country from open play, and his running numbers, again, like I say, his running stats are incredible. I don't think there's anybody in the squad doesn't like him. There's nobody in the stadium doesn't like him. There's nobody in the staff doesn't like him. So, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and it's not just Macaulay Langstaff who has those traits. It feels like everyone in the squad at the moment, everyone likes it. Everyone likes them. Everyone gets on, and you're all reading off the same page.
Yeah, like I said, we've got a lot of captains out there. It could have been, the armband could have been given to several different players, and I think just with this really remarkable goal tally, it means that every one of us, all the fans, all the staff, all the players, we've all rejoiced in these big moments to celebrate, and Macca has been the common denominator in those so many moments where he's scored such great goals, important goals, and we've all had that shared feeling, and he's the common denominator. So that was the main reason why, but like you said, there's many guys in the group that are incredible that could have quite easily worn the armband for sure.
Let's talk about Junior Marias, who's coming in. What made you want to bring in another attacking player of Junior's calibre?
Well, as you know, the recruitment team are incredible, and there's a very, very healthy respect between myself and the people that have the real big responsibility to try to bring players. Why would I possibly have any doubts about the quality of recruitment when you look at the players that have been brought in and what they're producing? So yeah. I need to concentrate the maximum effort on the guys that are in the building day in, day out, to try to give them all of my energy, to try to give them all the information that I think will help, to try to be there in the tough moments and talk to them. And all these things take time and energy. And for me, they're the most crucial parts of my job. And other people don't have that responsibility, but they have the responsibility to find players that will come in and be able to work well with the guys that are already here and myself, and to give us new angles, new options. And Junior is no doubt is an excellent player at this level, and can play at a high level without any shadow of a doubt. He's a really top guy, and that's so important. And so he now gives us some more options because, of course, we suffered a setback with Kedwin, and then when he returned, we suffer another setback. So then it creates a uncomfortable feeling that potentially we're there with Maka, and then we know that Connor has some qualities that we can transfer to play there. He's so good in the top of the pitch. Connor, he's brilliant, but probably the overwhelming thing is to make sure that we're covered. If Kedwin suffers a little bit longer and so on. So therefore is a brilliant option.
Yeah, how much does it help having a player or bringing a player in rather who's played in the National League already this season and he knows what he's coming up against?
Absolutely, yeah, and a guy that played against us as well twice, and look, they suffered a very heavy defeat against us, and then they were one of two teams only to have turned us over. But I would say that even the game that Dagenham beat us here at Meadow Lane was they will have understood how difficult we are to play against and how good we can be. So he knows what he's coming into, and he knows the league. He's not going to be fazed by anything at all. Can play in any pitch in this division and hold his own more than comfortably. So yeah, very important to bring somebody with that experience for sure.
You talked about new angles, Luke. What is it that he brings that you haven't quite got already in the forward department?
Well, he can operate like an out-and-out striker, which is really important. But he can also operate just off the front line from the very top of the pitch to the small space just behind that. In front of midfield, not quite at the very top. Can take the ball extremely well, and can wriggle away. Has real power. Very powerful guy. So he gives us when we see the actual characteristics on the pitch, we'll see maybe one or two actions that possibly we don't see very often, because once we start to integrate with the group and he can make plenty of practice games that we do in training, we can start working out maybe new angles of approach towards the opposition box that we don't use so much now.
Yeah, is it possible that he could come in straight away for the Barnet game on Saturday, or is it going to take a little bit of time to get used to your way of playing?
Yeah, two things. One, we need time to give him very, very clear information and for him to practice on the training ground against ourselves, but also has a small injury that we will rehabilitate very quickly. So yeah, for the time being, he's not going to be immediately on the pitch, but he will be ready in the thick of it when we're really at the business end of the season.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. Appreciate your time as always, Luke. And all the best Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Luke. Just a couple of follow-ups from me. So, just on Junior Morais, is that an indication of your intent for promotion this season by adding to your squad in that position at this late stage?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's about doubling down and making sure that we're ready for anything that potentially comes our way. Players unfortunately can pick up an injury or can be suspended or something like this. We've had for example with Kedwin, unforeseen, he pick up an injury and then again breaks down just in the moment he's arriving back for training. Then we suffer with like Sam Slocum, and Aidan picked up this suspension. So all of these things, now we're doubling down to try to be at full power for as many games as possible in this running.
Just on Tuesday night, when we spoke last week, you mentioned about having a positive conversation with Badge following his performance at the weekend. Did it turn into a bit of a difficult one, knowing that Aidan would return to the side and he would be back on the bench for Tuesday night's game against Eastleigh?
Yeah, it was difficult because Badge played so brilliantly, and then I have to make a very tough decision, and I spoke to Badge, of course, like I do with all the guys, but Badge is a man, like he's proper, and he understood, no problem, and I'm ready. He's always let me know I'm ready. When I need to go back in, I'm going in, and he went in and played so incredibly well again. And mentally he's a strong guy, because, like I said, we felt like his form wasn't where it had been earlier in the season. He didn't play terrible. He didn't hit the level, and no problem. We spoke about that, and when I look in his eyes, I know it's not because he's not taking it seriously or not taking care of himself. I know. I can have complete confidence in Badge that he just suffered a bad form, like any player, and then he's that strong. He can make one performance, suddenly he's back, and then he jumps in for Aiden in a tough game, really tough game. Got to grips with it so quick, and then played brilliantly.
And then just on Aiden, have you had a chance to further assess his injury picked up on Tuesday?
Yeah, there's a small problem that thankfully is nothing like we feared it could be. So we don't expect him to be sidelined for any significant time.
And the win over Eastleigh took your total goals for the campaign to 100. So that is some achievement at this stage of the season. Yeah,
100 goals and so many goals from open play is really impressive from the guys. Really so impressive, and we need to keep scoring a lot of goals, because it feels like it's getting harder. The teams are so well prepared. This is England. Nobody turns up and chuck the towel in. No one, and that's why it's so brilliant to play football in England. It's so ferocious at every level, and so we have to keep being ruthless and scoring goals.
And then just finally from me, it was announced earlier today that Tiernan Brooks has been called up for Ireland's under-21s, meaning he'll miss the game against Scunthorpe along with Jody Jones as well. Does that give you a difficult decision ahead of the game in terms of Tiernan, for example, for not rushing back Sam Slope, particularly for that game, because you could then potentially lose him for the last part of the season in some important games as well?
Yeah, it's a problem. We have to make sure that we convince that Sam is right. He's doing brilliant. He's doing very, very well with the rehabilitation. So, but let's not forget Archie's a fantastic goalkeeper. And the decision that I made to put Tiernan in was a tough one, because Archie is so good, and he's ready, and he's desperate to play, and he's not scared, and he's very disappointed with me that I didn't pick him, and he's dealt with that by training brilliantly and putting me under big pressure to say that he's ready. But we know what we have with Sam, and if Sam is we're convinced that he's ready. Of course, we know how reliable he is and what a brilliant guy he is. So we're comfortable. We know we have good options there.